The shadows are deeper now, and every silence feels like it hides a secret. Beauty in Black is back, and nothing will remain the same. The story began with elegance wrapped in mystery, a world where beauty was not just about charm, but about the power hidden beneath the surface. In the first season, we witnessed a journey filled with betrayal, temptation, and the dangerous game of secrets. Every step felt like walking on broken glass, shiny on the surface, but sharp enough to cut without warning. Relationships built on trust were tested, and alliances that seemed strong crumbled like ashes in the wind. There was love that appeared pure, yet behind the smiles lived shadows of lies. There was friendship that looked unbreakable, yet envy sat quietly waiting for its turn. Season 1 did not just tell a story, it created questions that refused to fade. Why do people hide behind masks of beauty? Why does darkness often walk hand in hand with charm? And above all, who can truly be trusted in a world where loyalty bends as quickly as the flame of a candle? By the end of the season, the silence grew louder than words. What looked like an ending was only the beginning of a storm that promised to sweep everything away. The finale left us hanging at the edge, forcing us to wonder who betrayed whom, whose hands were stained not with love, but with guilt, and whose eyes told the truth while their lips whispered lies. Every unanswered question was like a lock without a key, waiting for someone brave enough or desperate enough to break it open. This was the beauty of the story. Nothing was simple, nothing was certain, and nothing was safe. The city itself seemed to breathe like a living character. Its empty streets at night, its quiet rooms with half-open doors, its sudden silences where you felt someone was watching, all of it shaped the stage where human hearts danced between truth and deception. It was not just about what people did, but about what they hid. The beauty in Black was never about clothes. It was about the soul, the secrets, and the shadows we choose to carry. Every character carried their own burden. Some tried to protect their image, while others longed to reveal what they truly were but feared the cost. Some were hunters, some were prey, and some lived in the blur between both. The whispers of Season 1 taught us that beauty can be a mask, and masks can be deadly. What seemed like kindness could hide cruelty. What looked like love could turn into a weapon. And what appeared like weakness could secretly be the greatest strength. The more you looked, the less you understood, because every truth had another side. Every revelation opened the door to another mystery. Every smile hid a scar, and every promise was tangled with doubt. The question was never about what was real, but about how much you were willing to believe. By the end, one thing was clear. The game had only started. The story never ended with the final moment of Season 1. It only paused, like a heartbeat waiting to strike again. The silence between the seasons was not an ending, but a warning. Every unanswered question from the past now begins to take shape, and every shadow that once stood quietly in the corner now dares to move. Season 2 is not a continuation, it is a transformation. The world of Beauty in Black does not simply return. It grows darker, sharper, and more dangerous than before. What lies ahead is a season where truth and lies are no longer easy to separate. The very ground beneath the characters is shifting, and nothing can be trusted, not love, not friendship, not even the voice of your own heart. The air feels heavier now, filled with secrets that refuse to stay buried. The doors that were half open in the first season are now wide open, revealing faces you thought you knew and sides of people you were never supposed to see. The transition into this new chapter is like walking into a storm. In Season 1, you saw the clouds gather and the winds begin to rise. But now, in Season 2, the storm has arrived, and it demands more than just survival. Every decision will come with a price. Every step forward will bring someone closer to either power or destruction. And every character who once walked in the light must decide whether they will fight against the darkness or let it consume them. This is not a season of simple answers. It is a season of twisted revelations. Secrets will not only come to the surface. They will explode, tearing apart everything that looked stable. People who once stood together will find themselves on opposite sides, and those who were enemies may find themselves drawn together by need, by fear, or by fate. Trust will no longer be a gift, it will be a weapon. To give it means risking everything, and to take it means owning someone's soul. Season 2 brings with it a deeper look into the cost of ambition. The Beauty in Black is not only about elegance, anymore it is about survival. Behind the charm lies hunger, a hunger that grows stronger with every secret revealed. This time, it is not only about who is beautiful on the outside, but about who is strong enough to hold their mask when it begins to crack. The battles are no longer only between people, they are inside them, hidden in the choices they never wanted to make but now must face. Every character enters this new season carrying scars from the past. Some will try to heal, while others will try to hide them, but scars, once made, always speak. They whisper at night, they remind during the day, and they twist the way people see the world. The pain from Season 1 becomes the fire that drives Season 2. And as the story unfolds, you will see how pain can shape destiny, sometimes into strength, sometimes into ruin. The transition is not only in the characters, but also in the world around them. The city that once seemed silent now becomes a battlefield of whispers. The empty streets are not just empty anymore, they are waiting, watching, ready to reveal what was once hidden in the dark corners. The doors that creaked open now slam shut, trapping people inside their own secrets. The mirrors that once reflected beauty now reflect truth, and truth can be far more terrifying than lies. Season 2 dares to ask questions that Season 1 only hinted at. What is the cost of beauty when it comes wrapped in shadows? How far will someone go to protect their image, their power, or their love? And when every mask falls, who will still have the courage to stand? As the curtain rises on this new chapter, the pace quickens, the air thickens, and the danger becomes real. No one is safe, not the innocent, not the guilty, not even those who believe they are untouchable. The game is the same, but the rules have changed. The stakes are higher, the risks are deadlier, and the players are no longer who you think they are. The beginning of Season 2 is not a promise of peace. It is the sound of thunder in the distance, the flash of lightning across the sky, and the realization that the storm has finally arrived. Beauty in Black is no longer just a story about charm and betrayal. It is about survival in a world where shadows are stronger than light. And so, the transition is complete. What you thought you knew will be broken. What you thought was safe will be threatened. And what you thought was over has only just begun. Season 2 does not wait for comfort. It begins with a strike. From the very first moment, the story sets its tone darker, faster, and far more unpredictable. What you can expect in Part 1 is not just a continuation of events, but a web of new mysteries that reach deeper into every character's soul. The Beauty in Black is no longer silent. It speaks in whispers, in threats, in choices that cannot be undone. Expect to see characters pushed to their limits. Those who once carried themselves with pride will be forced to bow under the weight of truth. Those who seemed weak will rise with strength that shocks everyone. Power will shift like sand slipping through fingers, and no one will hold it for long. Every episode in Part 1 will challenge the balance of loyalty, betrayal, and revenge. If Season 1 was about learning the rules of the game, then Part 1 of Season 2 is about breaking them. You will meet faces that are both familiar and strange. Old characters return, but they return changed, shaped by the scars of the past, hardened by the fire of betrayal. Their smiles are not the same. Their words carry new weight, and their eyes tell stories that silence cannot hide. Alongside them, new figures step into the frame, carrying secrets of their own. These new arrivals will not just stand on the edges, they will step directly into the path of danger, shaking everything that seems steady. Allies may become rivals, and strangers may become saviors, but nothing is clear until the final moment. Part 1 dives deeper into the theme of masks. Everyone is wearing one, and yet each mask begins to crack under the pressure of truth. Expect to see moments where characters can no longer hide, where their carefully crafted images collapse, revealing the raw, unpolished reality underneath. Some will fight to keep the mask on, others will tear it off. But the real question will be, what lies behind it? Expect betrayal, and not the kind you saw in the first season. This time, the betrayals will be sharper, cutting closer to the heart. They will not only break trust, they will destroy entire foundations. Part 1 makes it clear that no relationship is safe. Love will be tested until it bleeds, and friendship will be dragged to its breaking point. The people you thought were inseparable may turn into enemies, and the ones you distrusted the most may prove to be the only ones left to stand beside you. The story will not move gently. It will move like a storm tearing across a fragile coast. One moment you may believe you understand the path, and the next, everything shifts. Shocking revelations are waiting, truths that were buried so deeply in Season 1 that no one dared to dig them up. But now they rise, and when they do, they will shake every part of the story. These revelations will not only surprise you, they will force you to question everything you thought was true. Expect moral battles as well as external ones. Characters will not only fight each other, they will fight themselves. Choices will haunt them. Do they protect the people they love or protect the image they built? Do they chase power or hold onto humanity? Do they hide in silence or speak the truth that could destroy them? These are the questions that will burn through Part 1, and watching the answers unfold will be both painful and captivating. The world itself becomes more dangerous. The streets feel less like a stage and more like a trap. The walls close in tighter, and the shadows grow longer. Symbols of beauty like a mirror, a dress, a smile become tools of deception. Even silence feels threatening, because in silence, someone is always listening. Expect visuals and emotions that do not comfort but disturb, leaving you uneasy, keeping you restless, forcing you to wonder what waits around the next corner. And still, in the middle of the storm, there will be moments of fragile beauty, a glance between two characters that carries 1,000 words, a hand reaching out in desperation, a confession whispered in fear, moments that remind us that even in darkness, light struggles to survive. But these sparks are not safe, they are fragile, and the storm is always ready to extinguish them. So what should you expect in Part 1? Expect conflict, betrayal, revelation, and survival. Expect masks to fall, secrets to rise, and truths too. Burn everything they touch. Expect to be pulled into a world where beauty and darkness are no longer separate, but the same thing, two faces of the same mask. Part 1 of Season 2 does not ask for your patience. It demands your attention. It promises not answers but challenges, not comfort but chaos, not safety but danger. What you can expect is this: nothing will be predictable, nothing will be easy, and nothing will remain the same. At the core of Beauty and Black, beyond the betrayals and beyond the shifting power, lies something much deeper: the human heart. Part 1 of Season 2 is not just a story about secrets, it is a story about emotions that refuse to be silenced. Behind every decision, behind every mask, there is a beating heart, trembling with fear, burning with desire, or aching with regret. And it is this emotional storm that makes the story more than just suspense, it makes it haunting. Expect the theme of love to take center stage, but not in the soft, safe way most stories present it. Here, love is sharp. It is a weapon, a weakness, and sometimes both at the same time. Characters will be forced to question whether their feelings are real or if they are just illusions built to keep them chained. Love will drive some to risk everything, while others will destroy it before it destroys them. Every glance, every touch, every promise will carry the weight of both beauty and danger. The deeper the love, the more dangerous the cost. Revenge will pulse through the veins of Season 2, a silent hunger growing stronger with every passing moment. Those who were betrayed in the past cannot let go, and their desire for justice will twist into obsession. Expect to see characters standing at the edge of morality, asking themselves, is revenge worth the price of my soul? And yet, even those who try to resist will feel the temptation, because the sting of betrayal does not fade easily. It echoes, it lingers, it poisons. In part 1, revenge will not simply be an action. It will be a theme that reshapes lives. Another theme woven into this season is power. Not just the kind of power that controls others, but the power to control yourself. Some characters will rise because they learn to master their own fears, while others will fall because their emotions consume them. Power is seductive in this story. It whispers promises of control, of freedom, of victory, but each promise comes with a hidden chain. In Beauty and Black, the more power you think you hold, the more it begins to hold you. The idea of masks becomes more painful here. In Season 1, masks were a shield, a way to survive. But in Season 2, they begin to suffocate. Hiding behind beauty, behind elegance, behind charm, it comes with a cost. Characters will struggle with identity, asking themselves, who am I? Without this mask, who am I when the world sees my scars? The struggle of wearing a mask versus tearing it off will create some of the most emotional moments in part 1. Some will choose to keep hiding. Others will break free. But either way, the choice will leave wounds that cannot be healed. Redemption is another thread that runs through this chapter. There will be characters who are desperate to fix their mistakes, to heal what they broke, to prove that they can change. But redemption is not given easily here. It must be earned through pain, through sacrifice, through truth. The question remains, can someone truly be forgiven when their sins are carved so deeply into the lives of others? Part 1 dares to show us that redemption is not always about winning. It can be about losing in the right way, about giving up something you love to protect someone else. Expect the emotions to feel heavier than before. Every choice will not only change the direction of the story, but will also cut deeply into the hearts of those making it. Guilt will crawl into the quiet hours, grief will stain the strongest faces, and fear will lurk in even the most confident. Beauty and Black is not afraid to show that human emotions are messy, that they are not simple, and that they can be just as dangerous as any betrayal or revenge. The themes of light and darkness also grow stronger in this season. Light is not portrayed as pure, nor darkness as entirely evil. Instead, the two bleed into each other, showing that every character carries both within them. A hero may be capable of cruelty, and a villain may still show moments of tenderness. This blurred line between good and evil is where the emotional depth becomes unforgettable. It reminds us that people are not made of one color. They are made of shades, of contradictions, of choices that twist them into something more complex than labels can define. In the end, the true beauty in Black is not in the clothes, nor in the masks, nor in the shadows. It is in the emotions that refuse to die. It is in the love that survives betrayal, in the revenge that refuses to be silenced, in the redemption that still hopes for forgiveness. It is in the courage to face the truth, even when it shatters everything. This is the emotional core of Season 2, Part 1. The reason it does not just entertain, but stays with you long after the final moment fades. What you should expect is not just drama, but an experience of pain, of longing, of secrets tearing through silence. Expect to feel the weight of each choice, the burn of every betrayal, the hope of every fragile spark of love. Expect to be reminded that beauty is not perfect. It is broken, scarred, and yet still powerful. That is the beauty in Black.